Hello ladies and gentlemen of YouTube, my name is Brad. This is my channel Animate Orange, where I build a lot of 3D metal models and show you how I do it. Today on the table we have another of the Legends collection from Justice League. We have the Green Lantern. Not quite as popular as Superman or Batman, but still an important character. And whether or not this is the older style or the newer style with the redesigned legs, I will not know until I open it. But I will tell you there is no difficulty gauge on the packaging like it is with the very new models, but I imagine it's pretty much the same as the rest. It's not all the way easy, but it's just a notch or two above, so still just enough challenge to make it fun and not too difficult to make you want to not do it. Let's open this up and put it together. Green Lantern. Let's open up, see what's inside. Don't expect much. Instructions in a sheet. There we go. Looks like we have the older style, the more glossy finish, and the older style leg assembly, and that's fine. I know how to do that. And we have the one sheet of instructions. So let's open that up. On the front you have the instructions and how to put this together. On the back it's just blank. I'm going to fold it in half to fit it on the camera view. And if you've built these models, seen these videos, you know how this goes. But very quickly, you've got your page 1, the top quarter, where it has a completed line drawing model, and you have your drawing of the sheet both here and here. This is the one that's important because it's numbered, so it shows you where the parts are, part numbers, and where they are on the sheet. You've got a sample part with an explanation of fold lines, insertion holes, insertion tabs. Tabs go in the holes, fold lines, or pre-scored places where things will fold easier. And then you have your legend here and a note about tweezers and needle nose pliers are helpful. When you see a blue circle in the assembly flowchart next to a connection, it's telling you to insert the tab and fold it over 90 degrees, makes a neater look. Green triangle means to insert and twist a tab. That's usually a stronger connection, but not as neat a look. And then you have your 360 view where you can go online either by scanning this barcode or QR code with your phone, or just go to this address to see a completed model in case you have any questions about how something comes together. And then below starts the assembly flowchart with part 1, and it begins to show you how to shape that part. And then once you get to this solid line, you jump up to page 2 to this top right quarter and just continue on shaping this, add in part 2, follow the directions, the arrows, and adding in and shaping the parts. When you get to the bottom, jump down to page 3 or this bottom left quarter, continue on, and then page 4, continue on. And once you get to the bottom, there's some notes here, and once you get to the bottom, there's some notes here, and you'll be finished with your model. What do these notes say? Use the tip of a small metal object such as a paper clip to bend the tab outwards. Yeah, good tip. Align and lock the tabs and holes starting from the top and working your way down. Sounds like something that I've said in quite a few builds. Certainly not a bad idea. That's typically how I do it. I start at the top, work my way down in pairs, and once I get to the hips, take it one leg at a time, one tab at a time. Anyway, let's take a moment to talk about tools. This is a very basic set of tools that I use in pretty much every build. I've got a very standard set of tweezers that I use very frequently. I've got some precision tweezers, another flat set here, and a couple of pointed tweezers, one of which I've ground the tip down just a bit to make it a little flatter for grabbing tabs. I have clippers that I use to get the parts off of the sheets quickly and easily. It's better than bending and trying to break them off. And then a couple of different pliers, a flat nose set and a long needle nose pliers set. They come in handy for bending in different situations. So I'm just mostly going to use my basic set of tools, tweezers, clippers, and pliers. I've got a dowel rod here in case I need some help shaping the shoulder pieces. I've got my one sheet of metal parts and my instructions. Let's put together a little Green Lantern guy. To shape the arm, I start by bending the one long side almost but not quite 90 degrees. and then try to shape the lower fist part of the arm using the side as a template. Then bend the side the rest of the way over and over the tabs on that end. Then work on shaping the strip at the shoulder end of the arm. This is where the dowel rod comes in handy. Then lay the other side of the arm into place over the tabs. I like to push the tabs over with my fingers a lot, then come back later and pinch them down with tweezers to secure them. What you are seeing here is not exactly the right way to fold this arm. I misinterpreted the directions here and was holding the part the wrong way when I started folding up the sides. I should not have started by folding up the 3 individual flaps at a right angle, but instead turned the part a little and folded the other side up 90 degrees. It took a while to figure out what I had done wrong, as it did not seem to be shaping up right, and I did ultimately end up bending things around after connecting the sides until I had it in the correct shape, but I ended up doing it the difficult way. It is about at this point that I started to realize what a ridiculous thing I had done. I apologize for getting off camera at some points. I was trying a new overhead camera setup to get a better angle on the builds. The problem with the overhead angle is that I tend to get in the way of the camera with either my head or, in this case, with the magnifying glass that I use to see what I'm doing. It's why all of my previous videos are a little bit of an odd angle. With the legs, for starters, you just get the general bend down listed in the instructions. Don't try to be perfect about it. It will start to make a little more sense as you assemble the rest of the model, and you can adjust the angles as you go. When attaching the leg pieces to the front of the main body, I'll start with the two tabs in the legs and lightly twist them to hold them in place, then fold up the sides of the foot one at a time and push them over the tabs. Oh, and bending out the toe of the foot helps too. I was originally going to start with attaching the head and shoulders first, but that didn't want to cooperate, so I bent the head up a little and started with the chest first. And then just work your way down, taking it one tab at a time. Don't forget to put a little bend on the bottom of the leg to match the angle on the foot. It's easier to bend it now before attaching all the tabs than after. Now that the green lantern is all together, I will go back and untwist any lightly twisted tabs and bend them over for a neater look. Green Lantern done. Another one of the Metal Earth Legends, the DC side of things, is complete and ready to add to the shelf, and the shelf is pretty full behind me. Now this, I just done the Gamora build, and that one came together. It's the newer design, and it came together in like 25 minutes. This one, not so much. This took a little bit longer. It is the older design and a little bit more tedious to get those legs right. Green Lantern in this older design took me 40 minutes. And you hear me saying older design, if you're not sure what I'm talking about, basically recently I have been made aware that the Guardians of the Galaxy models have a newer design to them. They have a more semi-gloss finish, but the way the model builds, the way the legs especially build, is different. And the newer design is in my opinion, easier to construct and understand and put together. The older design is a little bit more difficult and takes more time. I give you the Gamora model, which took me 25 minutes, and this model, which took me 40 minutes. There's not really a lot of difference between the two models. They neither one of them have a lot of extra parts or things in their hand or bizarre poses, or bad ears or anything extra. They're just the people, no extra parts. So I think that's a fair comparison to say, you know, one took me longer time than the other when they're very much the same model, just a different way to construct. So I think that says something. You know, if you get this model and you notice that yours is coming together differently than mine, then you might be lucky and have one of the newer builds. And if you're having trouble building that, you might check out one of the Guardians of the Galaxy builds to get an idea of how those come together. They're very similar, in end appearance, but the construction is a little bit different. So you may get one of either models at this point, because I understand right now they're both floating around out there. Do not mistake that, however, as me complaining. I still enjoyed this build. It still is a bit of a challenge, and it still was fun to put together, and it still is on the easier side of things. Not dead easy, but pretty easy and pretty good for starters and making your little own collectible guys without going to a ton of trouble. Something you made yourself. And that's that. There's more Legends models to come, and I have every intention of building them all. So stay tuned, as they used to say. If you enjoy these videos, consider becoming a Patreon supporter. There's a link in the description down below, and at the end of this video, you can help me bring larger builds to this channel. As always, thank you for watching, and keep on keeping on.